Hey guys, it's Joseph here with Prep for Step, and in this particular video we will be discussing the hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis in females. Okay, so what are we talking about here? Well, we're trying to stimulate the growth of a follicle in order for us to cause ovulation. Therefore, the ovocyte can leave and get fertilized, and that's the whole purpose of it. Okay, in the meantime, estrogen is also produced in the process. Okay, so first let's start at the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus, which is this guy right here, which you know by probably by your studies that most of the time the hypothalamus releasing hormones. In this particular case, it's going to release a gonadotropin releasing hormone. The gonadotropin releasing hormone then in turn will stimulate the anterior pituitary. The anterior pituitary will produce two hormones in response. One is the LH, or the luteinizing hormone. The other one will be FSH, or the follicle stimulating hormone. Keep in mind, both of these hormones, LH and FSH, are both peptide hormones. Therefore, they cannot diffuse across any membrane of any cell. So they work by activating a cell surface receptor and then causing a cascade or an intracellular signal, which is going to activate pKa, increase in CAMP, and then it's going to phosphorylate something inside the cell. Okay, keep that in mind. So that's how these guys work. Well, let's look down here real quick and see where we're going with this. This is the ovary. Okay, inside the ovary we have a follicle. This is our follicle. Inside the follicle we have an ovocyte. The idea is to make this mature and then allow the ovocyte to leave. Okay, around the ovocyte there are some cuboidal cells. All around here they're all cuboidal cells. These are called granulosa cells. Okay, granulosa cells. Okay, and I blew it up over here so you can see. Around the follicle there are some flat cells. These are called theca cells. Okay, and again what I did is I blew it up over here, so these are our theca cells. Now, what initially happens is that in response to stimulation from LH, the LH will come sit over here on top of this receptor, cause an intracellular signal, activating CAMP, activating pKa, and the pKa will phosphorylate a particular enzyme inside the theca cell. That enzyme is called desmolase. Since desmolase is activated, it will take cholesterol and convert cholesterol into androstenedione, which is basically just a variation of testosterone, nothing to really worry about. So we're kind of like talking about testosterone here. So these cells, in response to LH, or luteinizing hormone, will stimulate the production of androstenedione from cholesterol by activation of desmolase, or their enzyme called desmolase. And then the granulosa cells, which are in here, these guys, which are in here, are going to take that androstenedione, and I'm just going to say androstenedione, and they're going to convert it to estrogen, or 17-beta estradiol, which in layman terms we can just say estrogen. Okay, it's the most potent type of estrogen there is, and it's the most common in female that are not pregnant. All right, so but how does the granulosa cell do this? That's the key thing to remember, and that is the FSH, just like the LH, will come and sit on top of the granulosa cell, cause a transmembrane signal via the GS coupled protein. pKa is activated, and then the pKa will phosphorylate an enzyme, which is called, anybody know? There we go, aromatase. So basically we're putting some aroma on our testosterone and make it into estrogen. Now, why is this important? Because estrogen in turn does so many things. Okay, one of the things that estrogen does is that it supports or stimulates the growth and maturation of this follicle in turn. So FSH causes aromatase to convert androstenedione to estrogen. Estrogen in turn stimulates the growth of the follicle and the maturation of the follicle. That way for the ovulation can take place. And remember, in ovulation, what happens in ovulation? Well, ovulation is because of an LH surge on the 14th day of the menstrual cycle. You get the ovocyte that leaves and it gets ready for fertilization. And you also have something left behind, which is the rest of that follicle, or the corpus luteum, or the body, or the luteal body, corpus luteum, okay, which secretes progesterone. okay? And this secretes progesterone. Now, back to what estrogen does. Estrogen, first off, we need to know in this particular thing, stimulates follicular maturation or follicle maturation, okay? Another thing it does is it increases endometrial growth or stimulates endometrial growth. It also actually stimulates breast buds, so breast development. All of these are done by estrogen, okay? Estrogen by itself, this guy right here, is also going to cause a negative feedback, okay? It could cause a feedback of FSH and LH. It could actually block this, and it could also block the LH on this side as well. So it can completely block the anterior pituitary if it increases so much, okay? It also, one of the other things that you need to know about estrogen is it stimulates the transport proteins. Because remember, estrogen by itself or testosterone, all of these are cholesterol derivatives. So they're fat soluble. Therefore, in the blood, they cannot transport unless they are bound to a protein. Okay, so because they're fat soluble. And one other thing, which is why most of the times we don't see females before menopause getting any type of coronary artery problems or any type of problems with the heart, is because it increases HDL while decreasing LDL. And we know that LDL is a bad thing to have because it can cause all kinds of streaks inside the coronary arteries, and then possible blockage of the coronary arteries and a possible cardiac problem or an MI. Okay, so that's basically how all of this works. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will hopefully be able to answer you guys. Thank you very much, and talk to you guys next time.